The movie starts by showing us Gray, the main character. He worked as a mechanic. Gray's wife worked at a big tech company. They had an electric car, and Gray was fixing a car. It belonged to one of his regular customers. He had to give the car back to his customer today. Gray convinces his wife to go with him. They would return in his wife's electric car. They were driving, with their electric car following them. When Gray got there, he introduced his wife to a man named Aaron, and his wife was surprised to see him. Gray's wife said, "Why didn't you tell me we were going to see Aaron?" Aaron was a regular customer of Gray. Aaron was shown to be a bit odd, like he didn't even know how to greet people. This was because he rarely left his big house. He spent his time at home inventing things. His invention was called the AI, or Artificial Intelligence Chip. Aaron shows them the chip. He tells them, this chip can do anything because it has so much power. After seeing this invention, Gray and his wife were driving home. Suddenly their car went off course. Gray realized the car was going the wrong way, and his wife told the car to go home. But the car replied that there was a problem. Gray tried to stop it by pressing the brakes manually. The car didn't stop but sped up. They tried very hard to stop the car, but they couldn't, and their car hit a speed bump. It flipped. They survived the crash, unharmed. They were trying to get out of the car when another car stopped near them. 4 people got out and grabbed them, pulling them out. A police drone camera tried to identify them, but it couldn't. Gray said, "Please leave us alone and take our money instead." They didn't listen to Gray, and one of them shot his wife. They broke Gray's spine and left. Gray's wife was in a lot of pain, but Gray couldn't do anything because his body wouldn't move. His wife died in front of him. The next scene shows Gray in a hospital, where he stayed for 3 months. 3 months later, Gray returned home in a wheelchair because he was paralyzed. Gray couldn't do anything for himself, so he had robot machines at home. These machines did all his work. Since Gray became paralyzed, his mother had been taking care of him. Gray didn't like his mother taking care of him. One day, Gray and his mother met a detective. Gray asked him about his wife's killers. The detective said they were still unknown. The police were still investigating. "We'll find them soon," he said. But Gray was disappointed. He had been hearing, "We're investigating," from the police for a long time. Gray had given up hope and didn't want to live like this. He used the robot machine to overdose on his medicine. Gray was shown in the hospital, and Aaron, his regular customer, came to see him. Aaron showed Gray a glimmer of hope. He asked Gray, "Do you remember I showed you an AI chip once? If you put it inside you, you'll be able to walk. You'll become powerful too." But Gray refused Aaron's offer. "I don't want to live this life anymore," he said. Aaron asked, "What would your wife want if she were here?" Gray reconsidered and accepted Aaron's offer. Here, it's revealed that Aaron came to Gray for his own purpose, because he wanted to put his AI chip into someone's body. He was a scientist and wanted to test if his invention was successful. Aaron wanted to do a secret experiment by putting the chip into Gray's body, because the government didn't allow such experiments. Aaron is shown doing the experiment at home, putting the chip into Gray's spine. A few days after the operation, when Gray was recovering, the doctor tried to move his limbs. She checked to see if Gray could feel his hands or legs. Seeing Gray's condition, they thought the AI chip might not work soon. They needed to give Gray and the chip some time. When the doctors explained this to Aaron, Gray started moving his limbs. They were shocked to see this, and now Gray could move his limbs. Meanwhile, Gray stood up on his feet. Gray was happy to see himself healed. Aaron was also happy with his successful experiment. Aaron got Gray to sign papers where he wouldn't tell anyone he could walk. He had to keep quiet in front of everyone. If he didn't, everyone would find out about Aaron. The chip would be taken out of Gray's body. Returning home, Gray found out the detective had sent him a package. It contained his wife's autopsy report and some information related to her case. Suddenly, Gray heard a voice. The voice said, "Can I tell you something?" Gray looked around, hearing this voice, but he didn't see anyone. After a while, the voice said, "I'm the AI chip inside you." Gray thought he was going crazy, but the chip said, "No, you're not crazy." The chip tried to help Gray, so Gray would find his wife's killers with the help of drones. The chip could see everything Gray could see with his eyes. The chip watched a video and showed it to Gray. It said, "Look, there's a tattoo in the middle of your body." It wasn't clear why Gray didn't know anything. The chip said, "I made a clear image of this tattoo. I can show you if you want." With Gray's permission, the chip showed Gray the clear image of the tattoo. Seeing the tattoo, Gray found out about the person with the tattoo. Gray was happy because he found one of his wife's killers. This chip did in minutes what the police couldn't do in months. Gray thought about informing the police. The chip reminded him that Aaron told him not to when he signed the papers, because everyone would find out about Gray and the police would question him. Gray thought about going there anyway. When Gray got there were police drones, so Gray stayed in his wheelchair. When the drones left, Gray secretly went there. He opened the door and went inside the house. He tried to find evidence. Gray found out that someone had sent many messages to the killer. Gray ignored this and looked for evidence to find out about the other killers. Before Gray could find anything, he heard someone coming. It was the killer. He had returned home. The killer found out that things were scattered on his table. The killer saw Gray, grabbed him, and asked how he found him. Gray didn't answer. He asked, Tell me who killed my wife? The killer was overpowering Gray. The chip asked Gray for permission to do something to save him. As soon as Gray gave permission, Gray attacked the killer. He hit him hard. Gray told the killer to hand him over, but the killer attacked him with a knife. Controlling the situation, the chip killed the killer. Gray was shocked to see this, because he didn't want to kill the killer. After killing the killer, the chip gave control of the body back to Gray. The chip said, "I know everything you did here. Remove all the evidence as quickly as possible." Gray did as the chip said. The detective was shown in the next scene. The detective found out from the killer's autopsy report that a weapon had been inserted into his body. There were small wires in his body, which meant the killer was an advanced human, more powerful than other humans. Aaron got angry at Gray. "Why did you kill the killer?" "It was a risky act," he said. "I didn't put this chip inside you to do these things. You won't do anything like this next time. Otherwise, the chip will be taken from you. You'll be paralyzed again." On the other side, the detective was trying to find out who killed the murderer. The detective found out that Gray was moving around in that area before the murderer was killed. In the next scene, the detective is shown with Gray in the garage. The detective says, "We saw you in that area at that time. The time that man was killed." They said, "We suspect that man killed your wife. We have a huge criminal record of him. He lived in the same area where your wife was killed. That man was killed yesterday." Gray says, "Okay, I'm surprised. But if you think I killed him, you're wrong. You can see I'm paralyzed. If you don't believe me, you can stab my leg with a knife." The detective laughs at this. She says goodbye to Gray and leaves. After the detective leaves, Gray calms down. He asks the chip what to do next. The chip tells Gray to go to a bar. The chip revealed, "I found out about the bar from the murderer's messages. But doing this will let Aaron know about your activities. He will shut me down, and you know you'll be paralyzed again if that happens." Gray is shown going to the bar. While going to the bar, he calls out the murderer's name, saying, "If anyone knows that man, raise your hand. It will benefit that person." When he hears this, a man appears and knocks Gray down, taking him to the side. Gray asks him his name. "Are you one of those who killed my wife?" The man says, "Yes, I was there too." Hearing this, Gray gives permission to the chip, and then the chip beats him up badly. He is also asked his name, but he doesn't tell. After that, with Gray's permission, the chip ruins the man's face. Now when Gray asks his name, the murderer tells his name. He said, "A person named Fisk paid me for this job." Before Gray could ask him about Fisk, the man dies. Aaron was trying to shut down the chip. The chip told Gray, "Aaron is trying to silence me. We have to do something." The chip tells Gray about a hacker. So, with the hacker's help, he will change Aaron's input. This will loosen Aaron's grip, and he won't be able to do anything. Gray goes to the hacker. The chip tells Gray the new inputs. Gray notes them on his arm. Gray reaches the hacker. Gray reaches the hacker's address, but Aaron shuts down the chip by 30%. Due to this, one of Gray's legs becomes paralyzed. Gray bravely moves upwards. Aaron shuts down the chip again. Due to this, Gray's hand and leg become paralyzed. Before Aaron could cripple Gray, Gray reaches the hacker's door. Aaron shuts down Gray by 100%. He paralyzes Gray. He sends 2 of his men to bring Gray, and 2 men are shown at the bar. One of them was the man who killed Gray's wife. The other was his partner, and he was the person named Fisk who killed Gray's wife. Fisk gets angry at the bar owner because Gray killed his partner, and the bar owner says nothing. Fisk kills the bar owner. The bar owner was also with Fisk. He had to die because he didn't do his job properly. Fisk finds Gray's location through his partner's eye capture device. Fisk and his partner go to the place where Gray is. Gray was at the door, but the hacker comes and takes Gray inside. Gray gives her money, and she enters the input written on his arm to reboot the chip. The hacker tells Gray that the chip will reboot after some time. The hacker saw 2 people coming, and they were Fisk and his partner. 2 more people sent by Aaron also arrive. They have weapons, but Fisk kills them as soon as he sees them. After that, Fisk and his partner try to break down the door. The chip restarts in Gray's body. Gray's hand starts working again. Fisk and his partner break down the door and come inside. They see Gray crawling, and Gray sees his wife there. She suddenly disappears. Gray doesn't understand what happened. Now the chip becomes active in Gray's body after being fully rebooted. Gray starts running. Fisk's partner also chases him. Gray runs to the top of the building. There was no way to go further, so Gray stopped, and the chip showed its power. It brutally kills Fisk's partner. Gray leaves before Fisk arrives. When Gray gets home, his mother sees blood on his body. Gray is standing on his feet. He is no longer paralyzed. When his mother asks how he got better because of Aaron's chip, Gray tells her everything. Gray tells his mother to keep it a secret. Aaron lost Gray and the chip because Aaron couldn't track him after the hacker's input. In the next scene, Gray sees his wife alive in front of him, but suddenly, she disappears. The chip tells him it's his nightmare. Gray's mother tells him that the detective is here. The detective says to Gray, "We found your wheelchair at the murder scene. What are your thoughts on this?" Gray says, "Yes, I was there, but I didn't kill anyone." The detective says, "3 people are dead, and you are suspected of killing your wife." You are found at the murder scene every time. Maybe you are paying someone else to do these murders. Gray says, if you think so, you can check my call records. The detective says nothing and quietly leaves, putting the microphone in his pocket. When the detective leaves, Gray gets nervous. He says, now I have to stop all this. The chip says, we have to kill the last man too. His name is Fisk. If we don't, he will kill us. The chip tells Gray that the hacker didn't put the input correctly. Because of this, I can do whatever I want. Now the chip can do everything beneficial for him without Gray's permission. The detective was listening to the chip and Gray's conversation with the microphone. The detective doesn't understand who Gray is talking to. Gray takes a gun and tries to kill Fisk. His mother tries to stop him, but he doesn't stop. He gets into his car. The detective also follows Gray. Gray finds the microphone in his pocket and the chip says, the detective put it there. Gray asks, why didn't you find it? The chip says it's because it doesn't have any digital part. Gray throws away the microphone and finds out the detective is following him. To get rid of the detective, the chip rents an electric car. It crashes that car into the detective's car. They leave the detective behind, and then the detective goes to Gray's mother. He asks her about everything happening there. Gray also finds Fisk. He asks him at gunpoint, why did you kill my wife? Fisk says, our job was just to break your spine. Your wife was killed for no reason. Gray gets angry, and a fight starts between Fisk and Gray. Gray kills Fisk here too. Later, he checks his phone. Gray finds out from his phone that it's none other than Aaron behind this. He got Gray's wife killed and Gray paralyzed. Without thinking, Gray goes to kill Aaron at his house. Before Gray kills him, Aaron tells the detective to throw away Gray's gun. As soon as the detective gets close to Gray, he knocks him down. Gray doesn't want to kill the detective, but the chip wants to. Gray tries to stop the chip, but fails. Taking the opportunity, the detective gives Gray an electric shock. Gray becomes paralyzed again, and here the main story of the film is revealed. Aaron says, I made this chip, and I used to talk to it before you. This chip told me it wanted to become like humans. This is why it chose you. It hacked your wife's car, and the accident happened. Everything I told you in the hospital, the chip told me to do. Gray is shocked to hear all this, and Aaron explains that it was the chip's plan. Now it wants to kill me. If I live, I will make another AI chip like it. The chip doesn't want another chip like itself. That's why it wants to kill me. Here, the chip says, yes, it was my plan. I wanted to become human. That's why I did all this. This time, Aaron and the detective also hear the conversation. The chip reactivates. It immediately kills Aaron. The chip tries to kill the detective too. Gray tries to stop it and then shoots himself. Gray wakes up and finds himself in a hospital bed. He calls the chip, but there's no response. His wife is also in front of him. His wife says, we had an accident. You were dizzy for many days. Was it all a dream? No way. Now the film goes back to the scene where the chip was about to end the detective's life. The detective tries to wake Gray up. She says, you can't do this. But the chip says, Gray isn't here anymore. He's in a better place. In his own world, the world of his mind, where he wants to be. This body is now under my control. And as soon as it says this, the chip shoots the detective. After that, meaning the chip, Gray leaves. As he walks away, the film ends. Thank you for your time.